This video in the series is about success, what that means for the trip, what that means for me, and what that might mean for you as well. There's been so many quotes that I've heard over my lifetime that when I heard them about success, I was like taken aback. But obviously when I'm making this video, I can't remember them or find them for that matter. So I found a different set of quotes about success that I think helps to capture the essence of what I want to say, but we'll see if it gets to the real point or not. The first one is from Bruce Lee. He says, "Remember, success is a journey, not a destination, so have faith in your ability." The second one from this guy called Zig Ziglar, I didn't even know he was the author of this quote, but he says, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." And there's so much history with that quote, I won't get into now, but it brings back a lot of memories. The third one, John D. Rockefeller Jr., "The secret to success is to do the common thing uncommonly well." And then Thomas Edison, super famous, "I have not failed, I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So the more you learn about success, the more you understand it's more about failure, being able to accept failure and also thrive within it and, keep failing in order to get to a better place and not necessarily find the final destination, as Bruce Lee was saying. So there's 4 goals that I've outlined here that kind of speak to what success means for the trip. And it's more in a general sense and not anything specific. There is a point about success being measurable, but I'll cover that a little bit later. So the first one about increasing awareness about technology implementations on a social level. So the thing that this talks to is technology literacy and just the basic fundamentals that is getting more advanced for things you need to know in order to understand and use technology effectively. I think society is failing in kind of sharing this knowledge, so I want to be able to get people to talk about their experience. So the second one is understanding the breadth and depth of technological discontinuity. So they're all kind of talking about the same point, so the overall mission is the same, just technology literacy. And then learn about what connects people, so talking to that point about different cultures and different backgrounds. There's been a huge advancement of technology in the last, let's say, 2 to 3 decades. And a lot of times technology was not really forced, but eagerly implemented in places that were not necessarily ready to accept technology in that area. So there's either been bad habits that have been created or negative effects. And on the flip side, there's been positive repercussions from that as well, eager implementation of technology. So there's been trendsetters and trailblazers who have taken up the challenge of understanding technology and been able to apply it more effectively in certain scenarios or environments. So learning about those two sides, about where technology's been applied in a good sense and where technology's been applied in a bad sense, being able to learn from the bad ways and being able to spread the good ways is the third point of this trip. And then the last point is sort of more where the spiritual aspect of spiritual tech comes into play. Learning about the human condition and how it's been affected by technology. A lot of the world, as it stands right now, is people creating things and not understanding the full effects that it has at scale. So technology is one of the things where information specifically is transmitted at such scale and speed that the total effect of how that new phenomenon is changing the world is not fully understood, and arguably I'm saying it can never be fully understood. There's just too much data and not enough unity in understanding where the data is coming from and what the data means. So generally, success for a trip, increased technology literacy and interconnectedness between people using technology. On a personal level, this trip has a lot of meaning as well. So growing up in America, being born in New York, Long Island, I was definitely raised a certain way, and we learn about America in school, and across America, you're supposed to learn about your own country in school, right? But how many of us really understand or know America just from learning about it in school, right? I would say not many. So I want to be able to kind of piece things together and like understand why we're so divided as a country. Part of that is right visiting all the states. So my target is 48 states. I can't drive to Hawaii or Alaska, so like they're kind of off the list. If this trip becomes super successful and I get a means and resources to travel to those places as well, I will definitely get there. So the reach goal is all 50 states, but we'll see how that goes. I'm also a fan of roller coasters, so I want to hit the top 10 fastest, biggest, largest, baddest, if you will, roller coasters across America. It's kind of just for the thrill and excitement. There's just a lot of unique places. I made a map of the places. It's on my website, but I'll link it in the description below as well. And then the last thing on a personal level that I want to do is connect with people. So I love talking to people and hearing their stories as much as I'm an introvert and I'm bad at starting conversations. Once I get over the initial icebreaker, then it's a lot easier for me to talk to people. So my target is one person a day to have a real deep, meaningful conversation with while I'm on the road trip. Reach is like 1,000 total, so the whole trip is gonna take like a year. So the target would be like 365. So my reach is like 3 times that. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm going with the best of intentions, and I don't want to expect anything. These numbers are more so just like reference points, and this is just to like start someplace, and from here we'll see where we get. In terms of metrics for success for the technology side of things, I want to be able to share at least one tip per day on how to use and integrate technology. And ideally, this would come from, the conversations that I have with people, connecting with them, understanding their story, how they're using technology, what technology they're using, and what their method for using it more effectively is. If they don't have a way, then maybe me talking with them and like sharing my experience would help us come up with a method or a tip together. So I want to do at least one short per day. The short's going to be about my general experience, but I'm going to try to add in a tip or trick about using technology in that short. And then building or fixing one thing a day. So the tip and trick for understanding the knowledge behind or the theory behind using technology is one thing, but I'm a strong believer in being able to apply that knowledge in a practical way. If I can, I want to be able to help people fix problems that they're having using technology, and it could be something super tiny or it could be something a lot bigger, and it's all relative to, right? So something that might be tiny for one person, it might be huge for another person. And then lastly, the one thing I want to do is inspire people to build more purposeful things. So this kind of talks to like human-centered design a little bit. A lot of people think about an idea and they think it's super cool and they want to do it, and that's great. I'm not saying don't do cool and interesting things. A point that's missing when people are developing things is that they lose sight of the real application. Being able to get a more holistic view of what a design really means for a system is a skill that I think we need to have on a more general level as we like go into the future. I'd like to inspire at least one person a week to think outside of the box for designing something or using technology a certain way, and how that might affect them or people in their lives or others in their community, right? And then the reach for that is one inspiration a day, and depending again how successful, how well I'm able to connect with people, we'll see how that goes. Overall, this video is more so for me as I reflect later on to kind of remember what I was thinking and how I was feeling before this trip started. The success is really not that important. As we've talked about, success evolves and adapts with time. It evolves and adapts with experiences that you encounter. When I was young, I always wanted a mentor, and I had the help and advice from lots of different people to give me like little tips to like nudge me in a certain direction along the way, but never a mentor that kind of stuck with me long enough to change my trajectory or have any meaningful impact on my overall path in life. That's a big topic, so I want to pin it and we'll come back to it in a different video. But for right now, I think everyone should have mentors in their life. And I just have this feeling there's at least one person out there that I know can benefit from these things that I'm sharing. I'm not really forcing anything, like anyone can take or leave whatever they want from all these things that I'm sharing. I want to be able to help that one person or that one set of people that I feel that are out there that could like benefit from this. So I'm sticking with it, and that's why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. So success or not, this road trip's happening, so I'll see you there.